Some kind of bugs killed Seth? Bees.
It's the eeriest, most frightening thing I ever heard.
Okay, there's our smoker, ready to go.
While they're all calm.
The media, right? The media is always looking for the sensational story. And the sensational story is when bees attack. Bees that don't attack. See how they're holding the legs there?
Uh-huh.
So what they do is they make a scaffolding, if you will, and a framework, and then they hold each other's legs and they secrete wax from their sides, and then that's how they get the wax and form the combs. I got into urban beekeeping because my son was playing in the backyard and found a open air hive in the tree, and I always wanted to, have bees and become a beekeeper because my dad was a beekeeper. So I grew up around bees. And so when the opportunity presented itself, literally in our own backyard, I was like, I gotta rescue these bees and put them in a bee box. Rob McFarland, the founder of Honeylove, came out and helped me rescue these bees, and we put them in the hive and we saved them.
I think that for the most part, everybody has a little bit of fear around bees. So that was just typical that we had, we didn't want bees to be flying around us. So I was a little nervous to have tens of thousands of bees living in our backyard. But through the years, I've just seen how really safe it is, and it's never really caused any problems. We have little kids, and they're very safe around bees. You just have to teach them, to keep a distance, and it works out fine.
My boys love being around. They help me with the swarm retrieval. They'll actually go on location and help me with getting a swarm and bringing it to the house. And definitely when it comes to the time to get honey, they're big help. They can get in there and churn the honey and pour it in the jars. And they actually like making candles and or lip balm. So those are some of the things that we do with the wax. This is all the wax. Oh, there it goes. Melts pretty quick. There it goes. Okay. There you go. Once it dries and hardens, it shrinks. So now I have a block, a nice solid block of melted wax.
My dad is a beekeeper.
Do you help your dad make the honey?
Yeah, I help my dad make the honey.
Do you love the honey that he makes?
Yeah.
And put it across here, and voila. So there you go. You just get all the big chunks. Chop it up. You can hear it dripping. Yeah. In society, the bees are very helpful. We don't even realize it. If you're walking around with chapstick or lip balm in your pocket, then you want to protect the bees, because if we didn't have the bees, you wouldn't have honey, obviously, and you wouldn't have 1/3 of all the food that you eat. So we should protect these bees, especially with skyrocketing prices of food and you know, trying to get fruits and vegetables to the table. If the bees weren't here, it would be costly. So we have to be thankful for these little bees. So we need the honeybees for survival, for the green, lushy, you know, urban environments that we live in won't be so beautiful if we didn't have the bees. Colony collapse disorder is a multitude of issues. One, pesticides, right? Spraying crops that are being, you know, bees are pollinating on. I've only had one hive that went south because of some poisoning or something in the neighborhood, some pesticide somebody sprayed, and the bees just poured out and died. Bees are friendly. You know, I think overcoming that, that one fearful thing, I think people get all tensed up, there's bees, and I think that, you know, as you guys have noticed today, we open up that hive and they could care less. They're like, you know, they're looking at you going, and then they just go about their business, right? So that literally came out of the hive yesterday. There was bees on that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm gonna try this.
Suck out the wax, yep. There's a queen in there, yeah. The queen one is the one right there, the big one right there.
Is there a king?
No. Bees
made that?
Bees made that. So that looked like that, right? It looked like that. And then after I extracted all the honey out of it, right? And then I melted it into little blocks.
Okay, you made this.
I melted it after I had it, after I rinsed all the honey out of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Thanks, Brandy, for inviting me to your Boingo Bee Day. Does anyone know how they make wax? Do you want to know? They secrete it out of their tail, out of the sides. They secrete it out of their bodies, and then they mold it, take it and mold it into the cells.
Because of the drought could negatively impact the bees, but now, Paul, we have more bees than ever, right? Tell us what the latest is.
Yeah, with the great weather we're having, they're actually thriving. This, as you can see, this box is almost full of honey. It's about 75% full, and this box was empty about 3 weeks ago. So as you can tell, they're really producing. They have an abundance amount of nectar and pollen to pollinate on. So everything's in bloom, and the bees are loving it.
What's the message to the public, though? Because now that so many people see more bees out there, the swarming season is in effect longer than ever before. A lot of the instinct is to exterminate, right? But that's not the message you're trying to send out.
No, never, never, ever exterminate. Call the hotline, find an urban beekeeper. They'll be more than happy to come out and rescue those bees. Yeah, and swarms are very friendly. They're just looking for a new home. That's all it is. They're just finding a new home. So don't want to exterminate a swarm. It's a baby. They're babies. I want to look. This is a swarm. So what happened is a queen hatched, came out and took half the hive.
Wow.
Look, they're laying on my head.
He's going inside now. Close your doors and windows.
Isn't that amazing?